Hi guys, Mike back again with the next video of making this board basically. So what I've done is cleared the board from previously, and we're gonna just start tentatively making this board. So I've just masked off the area that's going to contain the train track. So I'm going to put I've just masked this. I'm going to put glue in this strip. And basically just put a load of this ballast down. I'm going to mix it up with this modelling gravel just because I've got it. In fact, I'll put this in there just so it's contained. And just sort of spread it down and spread it on and let it dry. So that's the first stage. Okay guys, it's the next stage. Mixed up the coarse ballast I had in the modelling sand and stuff. Basically, I've laid the track down, made sure it's all level, made sure each of the joining sections join up. I had to trim some of the tracks, but that's by in here and there. So it all joins up nicely. Goes to the edge of the board, and basically I put glue down. Just put the PVA modelling glue down, glued the track down, and then I've sprinkled the modelling sand ballast all over the train track. So that's going to be sticking either side of the train track and in between the tracks. I'll let that dry and then brush it off, and then vacuum up the remainder of it. So I'll show you what that looks like in a sec. Guys, and we are back again. Basically I've glued everything down and put all the buildings in place the way they're going to go. I did in a previous incarnation of this, I had these buildings facing each other, but actually I prefer it with a boardwalk type of fare. Basically glued everything down so the buildings are removable, as I stated before. And that's that. So the train track's down. So we did the train track. So that's solid now. And I put some gravel like in between the train track and the station platform, and just sort of did gravel up here with these sidings and stuff. And when I come to paint it, I'll paint all this and weather it. I do need to vacuum the board though, just to get all the loose bits up. And I went up to gravel just along this side section here. And the rest of this I'm going to fill with wood filler. So I'll kind of show you what it looks like. So we can take all the buildings off as you know. So I mean, these are all down now. I've glued steps on, so you can make steps. You get steps with the kits. So this is all solid now. So we can take all of these buildings off. There we go. So they're all off, and stairs just come off. So these are all fixed, as I stated, and that's that basically. Train station is also comes off. Let's get that over there. Okay, so that's it. That's what the board looks like pre-filler. So obviously the station is always going to have to go here. I mean, the beauty with these sub bases is that you've got different sub bases. You've got sub base A, these small ones, sub base B. This is sub base C, this corner building here. So I mean, I could technically move the Undertakers, which is a sub base C, and Rogan's Bar, which is a sub base C. I could change the positioning of those models if I wanted to. But obviously the train tracks, the train platform is going to be fixed. I mean, there's nothing else going on there. So the next stage then is, where is it? My £1 wall filler. And I'm going to start creating and crafting the ground, the terrain for this board, which is going to match that. So I'll catch you in a sec. Okay, we're back again, and the board's been covered basically in filler. As stated in the previous vid, I used my £1 filler from the pound shop. I used 1.5 of these tubs. There isn't as much. This is only half full, this tub, which is why I suppose they only charge £1 for it. So you ended up using 1.5 of these, basically to cover the board. So everything that was varnished, which again in previous videos I've said, don't really know why I bother varnishing it, because I cover it. Although you can, you know, it is darker underneath, which is better. So like I said, I finished the gravel. I've put PVA in there, and just to kind of make it solidify overnight, and basically put filler on this board to give it a kind of earth texture effectively, a Wild West, Old West type texture. Put some scores in the filler to simulate wagons running through. And that's about it. So filled in all the gaps. So this is, so it's snowing in the Old West at the moment, maybe. What's going to happen now? Just noticing up here, there's going to be kind of wagons coming from the train station, off into wherever. So yeah, basically our next stage will be to let this dry. Then I'm going to seal it with some PVA and then paint it. And then we'll start weathering. So I will catch you in a sec and update you on the next bit. Hi guys, we're back again and put some paint on the board now. It's been 2 or 3 days since I filmed the last part that you saw. This took it took ages to dry, but I mean, to be fair, once it's dry, it's dry. It was the PVA water mix. I thinned down some PVA, cheap stuff. I used the just a decorator's PVA from a local hardware store. Yeah, mix this. This is quite gloopy. This is, I don't know, this is a weird consistency, this stuff. It's kind of yeah, stretchy, gloopy, weird. It's an odd consistency for PVA. It's not very, it doesn't flow very well. It takes a bit of mixing. So anyway, so I've mixed that down with water, put it all in here. So I mean, this is, I mean, you can see where it's kind of bobbly, kind of air bubbles and stuff, but this is absolutely rock solid. This is not going anywhere. So I'm going to weather the gravel anyway, so these bits don't matter. Obviously all the boards are stuck firm, and I've painted the board basically, covered this with wall filler, as you know, and I then gave it 2 coats of the watered down PVA. So I just basically took a big brush. I say a big brush, show you what I used. There we go. I just used these, my decorating, painting brushes, basically. Took 2 brushes and watered down the PVA and just coated the whole thing, or all of the filler, just with PVA. Did that once, let it dry, did it again. And again, this is so absolutely solid. Even the little gribbly bits, the little sticking up bits and things, absolutely welded to the bottom, to the board. So that, can't go wrong there. So after it was dry, I then painted it, and all I did, again using those same brushes, I had a tester pot left over. I bought 2 of these when I did the previous board, but this is chalky flat matte paint. It's called Grizzly. It's brown, and it's that colour basically. Used about 3/4 of a pot, I suppose. Gave it a good coverage. I mean, you can see some of the filler still poking through. Not too worried about that, to be honest, because next stage, I'll just go over here. These were kind of my highlighting coats, and this is what I had left over from doing that board. This is called Driftwood. Again, the same. It is vinyl emulsion rather than chalky flat matte. And I've got another one. I've got 2. So this is again the leftover from the previous board. So what I'm going to kind of do is go in now and kind of dry brush it, kind of just do patchy, lighter bits. I mean, naturally it would be darker around the boardwalks, sort of in the recesses it would be darker. So on the kind of open plane, as it were, would be lighter. So I'm going to keep these sort of areas a bit darker, and just get in there with the lighter paint. Once that's done, I need my crackle material. Once I've got paint on the board and I've kind of put a bit of lighter colour on there, I'm going to put my crackle material on, which I'll paint on, in various locations, and so that will crack itself effectively. But because there's colour underneath, it'll crack, and you'll be able to see colour underneath because it dries clear. And then after that's done, I haven't received the crackle material yet. I'm hoping that comes kind of today or tomorrow. And once that's done, it'll be in with the weathering powders, basically. And that's exactly what I did for that one over there. So I'm going to put some lighter colour on this. And I'll catch you in a bit. See you in a sec.